1970s collapse of the Bretton Woods international monetary system set up in 1944, a turbulent decade of labour struggles in the 1970s, and the rise and consolidation of the politics of neoliberalisation under Reagan, Thatcher, Kohl, Pinochet, and ultimately Deng in China. With the benefit of hindsight, it is not hard to spot abundant signs of problems to come well before a crisis explodes into full view. The surging inequalities in monetary wealth and incomes of the 1920s and the property market asset bubble that popped in 1928 in the USA presaged the collapse of 1929, for example. Indeed, the manner of exit from one crisis contains within itself the seeds of crises to come. The debt-saturated and increasingly deregulated global financialization that began in the 1980s as a way to solve conflicts with labor by facilitating geographical mobility and dispersal produced its denouement in the fall of the investment bank of Lehman Brothers on the 15th of September 2008. It is, at the time of writing, more than 5 years since that event, which triggered the cascading financial collapses that followed. If the past is any guide, it would be churlish to expect at this point any clear indications of what a revivified capitalism, if such is possible, might look like. But there should by now be competing diagnoses of what is wrong and a proliferation of proposals for putting things right. What is astonishing is the paucity of new thinking or policies. The world is broadly polarized between a continuation, as in Europe and the United States, if not a deepening, of neoliberal, supply-side and monetarist remedies that emphasize austerity as the proper medicine to cure our ills, and the revival of some version, usually watered down, of a Keynesian demand-side and debt-financed expansion, as in China, that ignores Keynes's emphasis upon the redistribution of income to the lower classes as one of its key components. No matter which policy is being followed, the result is to favour the billionaires' club that now constitutes an increasingly powerful plutocracy both within countries and, like Rupert Murdoch, upon the world stage. Everywhere, the rich are getting richer by the minute. The top 100 billionaires in the world, from China, Russia, India, Mexico, and Indonesia, as well as from the traditional centres of wealth in North America and Europe, added $240 billion to their coffers in 2012 alone, enough, calculates Oxfam, to end world poverty overnight. By contrast, the well-being of the masses at best stagnates, or more likely, undergoes an accelerating, if not catastrophic, as in Greece and Spain, degradation. The one big institutional difference this time around seems to be the role of the central banks, with the Federal Reserve of the United States playing a leading, if not domineering, role on the world stage. But ever since the inception of central banks, back in 1694 in the British case, their role has been to protect and bail out the bankers and not to take care of the well-being of the people. The fact that the United States could statistically exit the crisis in the summer of 2009 and that stock markets almost everywhere could recover their losses has had everything to do with the policies of the Federal Reserve. Does this portend a global capitalism managed under the dictatorship of the world's central bankers, whose foremost charge is to protect the power of the banks and the plutocrats? If so, then that seems to offer very little prospect for a solution to current problems of stagnant economies and falling living standards for the mass of the world's population. There is also much chatter about the prospects for a technological fix to the current economic malaise. While the bundling of new technologies and organizational forms has always played an important role in facilitating an exit from crises, it has never played a determinate one. The hopeful focus these days is on a knowledge-based capitalism, with biomedical and genetic engineering and artificial intelligence at the forefront.